Oh, I just agree. I mean, it's in the insurance sector that we're really going to see some difference. When people can't abdicate responsibility to another agency for their own actions, then they're going to have to take some responsibility for their own actions, and that's where it's going to lie.
I just have a comment. I think, particularly because our audiences are mostly colleagues of ours, our scientists, the key thing that we have to do is provide evidence from our data. And that's our major job. And also not trying to be confined to your circle of colleagues talking on the same language, but actually that outreach process is key. And now we have the mechanisms through SCAR, the Antarctic Treaty System, CAMLAR and so on, Common App, a huge amount of organizations that actually have that sensibility. And now we have the technology to actually to address and really show that outreach work. And it's something that is definitely in progress, because if you are not able to convince that your data actually is valid and really shows the changes, particularly us, we are scientists, we still need to improve that surely in the future, because the data really shows. Our data will really show that our span for the last 40, 50 years, from the top predators perspective, we know that populations are definitely declining, and you can show it's due to environmental change. Now is a political decision rather than a scientific one.
Thank you very much to our panel today, and a special thank you to Helen, who can probably just see us down there on the internet, I think. Yay! And to Robin. Let's just give Helen a little scout of the room. Time. An hour.
I don't even know if I want to touch that. I think I'll leave it alone. Actually, I guess the first thing is to hope that the technology is a little better in 2065. Maybe we actually can do what I thought was a simple thing. But certainly, as I listened to this, and I had some preview, obviously, working with the panelists, how this was going to be structured, and I guess it was my pessimism, optimism meter listening to see if it was going up or down. And personally, I believe that sometimes we're a little too gloomy about the future. And listening to what probably some of the best experts in the world said, I didn't get that very negative doomsday from any of the predictions, really. Certainly, there's cause for concern. There's lots of evidence and grounds for action now and not later. But overall, I thought I detected some optimism throughout this, that in fact, the issues we faced were addressable, and probably addressable in ways that really were not quite as onerous as some would like to have us believe. So I think I took home a relatively positive message. And the sort of muted, but I think understated part of this was that Antarctica, I think in 50 years, will still be a central focus of interest, particularly scientifically, but also as one of the last great places on our planet. And I think our people that were in 2065, we're still talking just as much about the same place that we're all excited about today. And the other, to connect back to our horizon scan, I was glad to hear questions or some indication that how difficult it is to actually think 50 years in the future. And also then how that probably is an extrapolation that's not very accurate. We're facing the same question when we're looking at our final questions tomorrow in the horizon scan as well. And I think we're struggling a little bit with making sure that the vision we put forward out of these meetings really reflects our best thinking about the future, not about tomorrow or not even about 10 years from tomorrow, but literally 20 years into the future. And I thought the same thing. I think I heard that when I looked at some of the questions and comments that were being made here, they were very much relevant to help us to look much more forward in our thinking. And we're going to have to do that by noon tomorrow, so put your thinking caps on. So again, I'd like to thank all the panelists, and again, This would only be possible through the support of the Tinker Foundation and our local hosts, Antarctica, New Zealand, and the New Zealand, what is it, Antarctic Research Institute, and certainly, like I say, the Muse Fellows would not even exist, obviously, without the Muse Prize. So I believe, and Renate and I have talked about this, that the reality of the Muse Prize is actually, I think, in some ways almost greater than what we could have expected just 5 years ago when it was created. So I think that's really great.